You've landed at Menacing MTG, and I've got a cool deck today. If you've looked at my decks, you probably have a sense that I do like mono black a lot, and I'm always looking for creative ways to kind of catch new synergies. And I did see a deck that did some cool thing with Massacre Wurm and Panharmonicon, and I've tried some decks with Panharmonicon in the past that were successful, but not wildly so. So I built this, you know, using some ideas from a few other people, but really this is somewhat of an original deck. Mono Black, the channel did have a deck on this, but it did have different content. It didn't have any kill spells. It didn't have Torment of Hailfire. It didn't have Mind Stone or Gifted Aetherborn. But it did have the premise that if you have Trespassers Curse, um, Massacre Wurm, and Panharmonicon, and Clackbridge Troll, and he had a few other things in here as well, that those are the core pieces. But I came in at a slightly different angle where I also, while I was using some of those mechanisms, I wanted to be amassing, getting lots of mana on the board. He too used 25 black mana. The only difference was that he had, I think, one more Cabal Stronghold, and I went with another basic land, as ultimately one avenue of victory here clearly is the Torment of Hailfire with the Cabals and lots of land. So I also have Solemn of Simulacrum to help accelerate that. And I only have two Massacre Worms and one Massacre Girl. Massacre Wurm is a 6-drop, and it takes a while to get that on the board. I also am incorporating single village rights in here for even additional card draw. And yeah, so let me just explain how this works really quick. So Trespassers Curse is probably the most key card, and it's, guess what, a common card. It's an enchantment that's only 2-drop, and enchant a player, which would be your opponent. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under that player's control, that player loses a life, you gain life. Okay, so right off the bat, having 4 of these in the deck really gives you strong footing against the white life gain, the particularly goblins or any mono red creature based deck, small creatures, tokens, just really give strong footing against them. Okay, so you have that piece. Then you're going to want to get Panharmonicon on the board. Meanwhile, as I mentioned, you're going to want to be ramping up your mana as fast as possible. So Panharmonicon causes things to trigger an additional turn, and you can have 4 of them on the board, and they trigger that many more times. So that means that Trespasser's Curse, if you have Panharmonicon on, it gives you 2 life for every creature that comes on, and the opponent loses 2 life, so on and so forth. Okay, so then you're building your mana, and you have some small things that help you build your mana. In addition, you have the 2 Solemn Simulacrums, which allow you to grab a mana and put it on the playing field. But also you have these Dusk Legion Zealots. They do damage to you, but you draw a card. So, and the side benefit here is that it's a vampire, and I'll get to that little minor side benefit. So then we have a single Gifted Aetherborn Death Touch Lifelink, a Mind Stone for additional mana ramp, 2 Torment of Hailfire, we'll come back to that, Sorin, Imperious, Bloodlord, just a single copy of this in here. Target creature you control gains Death Touch and Lifelink until the end of the turn. If it's a vampire, put a 1/1 counter on it. So let's just take a quick scan. 4 vampires, 5 vampires, 6 vampires. I think that's it. Nope. 7, 8 vampires. Okay. So you have 8 vampires. So if you hit the +1 on Sorin, and any of those guys are targets for the +1. You can also sack a vampire, and you'd be happy to sack a Dusk Legion Zealot to either Village Rites or Sorin. But when you do with Sorin, when you do Imperious Bloodlord deals 3 damage to any target, and you gain 3 life. Okay. Village Rites, of course, you can sack a Zealot or something else and draw 2 cards. It's awful sweet when you do that when somebody's unloaded a kill spell on you. Okay, so then we have Veto. We have 2 of these in here because you can be gaining some life. There are various ways you gain life. One quick one is a Gifted Aetherborn. Very obviously, the main life gain engine is here with Trespassers Curse, but also Vraska's Contempt. We have 2 of these in here, and they gain you 2 life when they do destroy a creature or planeswalker. And then Clackbridge Troll. As you can see, there's 3 in here. And whenever the opponent sacks a goat token, you gain 3 life and draw a card. So there is the engine, which is Trespassers Curse, and then there are nice innovative. Oh, there's another way you can gain life. That's Champion of the Dusk, which when it enters the battlefield, you draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is the number of vampires you control. Sorry, wrong card. So that one is the other card draw mechanism, not life gain mechanism. So now, when you gain life, Veto bounces damage equal to that life back to the opponent. So that's why we have 2 Vetoes in this deck. There are times also that it's pay 5 ability. Creatures you control gain life link till end of the turn is huge. It can end the game because then it reflects the life you gain back against the opponent. So let's talk about the other components here. We have Gonti, Lord of Luxury, and when Gonti comes on, he's a 4-drop 2/3 creature with Death Touch, which is a bit pricey for the same thing as Gifted Aetherborn, but it does something else. You exile the top 4 cards, or excuse me, look at the top 4 cards of your opponent's library, exile the one of them that you choose, and put the other in the bottom of their library in random order. And you can look at that card and cast it whenever you want, and as long as it remains exiled. And you may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast that spell. So you get to steal something from the opponent's hand, hold it in exile, and if and when you want to play it, it's there for you anytime. Okay, so we have 2 of those in there. 2 Vraska's Contempt, as you know, kill planeswalker or creature. Panharmonicon, Solemn Simulacrum. We already took a look at the champion. So then we have Clackbridge Troll. There's 3 of these. They're 5-drop. With this deck, you tend to get out to 5 mana relatively quick. You drop the goats on. Now, here's the kick. We have Panharmonicon in this deck, 4 of them. And when you have 1 or more Trespassers Curse on the board, Panharmonicon on the board, and you bring out the Troll, guess what happens? He creates... If you have 1 Panharmonicon on the board, it creates twice the tokens, which means 6. And when 6 tokens come on the board, this triggers not 6 times, but 12 times because you have Panharmonicon on the board. So you can end the game simply by having Trespassers Curse, Panharmonicon on the board, and dropping Clackbridge Troll. You can do an enormous amount of damage when they drop those tokens. So that's that. Now, are we done? Hell no. So we have a Massacre Wurm as a backup, and this thing just takes out more creatures, has the potential to take out many more creatures than Massacre Wurm, which we'll get to in a minute. There's a single copy of this in the deck. But the purpose of this is, if you have Panharmonicon, this thing is just going to rip up everything on the board. It's going to take all the creatures off pretty much because it takes -1/-1, kills things that have a 1 toughness. Then it goes up to 2. Then it goes up to 3, and so on and so forth. Now, we don't have a ton of creatures that we truly care about. As a matter of fact, this is very light in creatures, and they're pretty much disposable because they're not what is necessary to win. They just keep you alive and keep the opponent at bay. And so Massacre Girl can kind of sweep the board, but so you use that when you're in need. But you ultimately want Massacre Wurm to come out and do a similar job. So Massacre Wurm comes on, and remember, we have Panharmonicon on the board. So when it enters the battlefield, creatures your opponents control get -2/-2. And guess what? Panharmonicon, of course, duplicates that. And whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, that player loses 2 life. Guess what happens with Panharmonicon on the board? You know it. So it's unbelievable. Another way that you can just kind of sweep and win. Boom, just like that. Okay, really intense stuff here. So it's amazing when it clicks. And so, but we're not done there. We're not done, because those are all super potent ways of winning a game. Okay, Veto enhances it. Gifted Aetherborn, whatnot, keep things at bay. Veto can accelerate a victory. Solemn can get you a card draw after bringing on a land. All of these things all work well together. But we have 2 Torment of Hailfire in this deck, and 2 is enough. You don't want more than 2. It's perfect. And you just hope you don't get one in the first 10 cards, all right? Because you get this mid-game to late game. You have Panharmonicon on the board. You have all your tools. This just goes absolutely haywire. Okay, so and one of the reasons for that is that you have A, 25 lands available. B, you have card draw going on like crazy. C, you're taking things off the board. You're gaining life. The opponent's losing life. So by the time you tap a Cabal Stronghold with 7 or 8 swamps on the board, you're going to be doing some mega damage with Torment of Hailfire. So if you don't know what Cabal Stronghold does, you better learn, because it's a super potent card, particularly with Torment of Hailfire, but it also allows you to accelerate up to get potent things on the board quicker. You can possibly get a Massacre Wurm on a turn earlier as a result of having one of these on the board and some basic lands, basic swamps. So yeah, when you tap this, you tap Cabal Stronghold and 3 other swamps, and you add a black mana for each basic swamp you control. So let's just run one quick scenario. Say you have 6 swamps and 1 Cabal Stronghold. You tap 3 swamps and the Cabal Stronghold, and you end up getting 6 mana. Then you still have 3 swamps that you can add to that. So then you have 9 mana. So instead of the 7 mana you actually have, you have 9. And that just amplifies with the more basic swamps you have. So again, let's just take a quick look at Torment. I do have a Torment specific deck that's built around getting it off huge. Similar mechanics, but more focused on Torment as the end game. So Torment has repeat the following process X times. And you just keep in mind, we have Panharmonicon in this deck. Each opponent loses 3 life unless that opponent sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. Okay, so you can just imagine it happens. It's not unusual that you run this and you are loading it up for 11, X of 11 or 13 or something. So do the math. 11 times 3 life lost, 33. So people do not like to let go of their crucial cards that are on the board or in their hand. They'll have to, but they're still going to take damage. So yeah, this is brutal. All right. So and usually by the time you're running this, Trespassers Curse has done some damage, and they're well below 20, and other things. So this is a wild deck, and I hope you enjoy it. And let's play a few games. Okay, good hand here. Have some good early game components. We'll look to drop the Trespassers Curse first. I get to go first, so that's excellent. Got Yorion up there as the commander. A large deck. So this is like a 95 or so card deck. I don't pull anything from the graveyard, so that does not impact me at all. The Leyline of the Void. Everything gets exiled that goes to graveyard. Okay, so now we'll run the Zealot. Get card draw. This is good. Tons of mana, which is good, but we are going to need some other items here. Panharmonicon and the Troll. Doom Foretold just got ditched, so it only exiles things from my graveyard, just to be clear. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Toss up the Dusk Legion. Does damage to me. There's Hailfire. We'll attack. There's Dusk Legion. We'll sack it. Draw a couple cards. Okay, another Trespassers Curse. And we have Champion of Dusk there. We've yet to see a creature, but we know they have Yorion, so there is a creature. Okay, there we go. Alright, so this is going pretty darn well here. I'm really hoping they have more creatures, because we are loaded up and ready to go here. Okay, we are going to be looking at some trouble here at some point here. I got to really get this thing going. Okay, Clackbridge Troll. All I can say is I wish that I had Panharmonicon on the board, but you'll get to see a little action here. Some pretty good damage dealt right there. And now they have to... Ooh, and another one. So that should end the game. The Clackbridge Troll should end the game for them. Oof. Okay, they're going after the troll, and I don't care about that troll, honestly. Here we go, folks. Good game. And there it is. So you just saw like a mini version. We didn't even have Panharmonicon on the board, which would have wiped them out the first turn. But that's pretty impressive stuff right there. I mean, we did have the unusual fortune of having 3 Trespassers Curse on the board. But you can see with that card draw going on there, we're able to really fly things through. And with 25 lands in combination with that, and we had 7 lands on the board. So we're in good shape there. I hope you enjoyed that. We'll play another. Okay, some reservations about this hand. Just 2 lands, but we got to take it. We do have the curse, which is awesome. We have a Mind Stone for a little bit of ramp, so we're going to need to get the curse on first. Mind Stone, hopefully we get another land by the following turn where we can bring on Simulacrum. We do have Hailfire in hand, and once we get to Simulacrum, we will then have 5 mana plus a Mind Stone, 6 out. So, okay, Cabal right there, so that's exceptionally good news. Okay, curse on. Check. Ooh, ramping mana, check. right, this is good. The opponent is taking a good look at what we've got going here. I'm wondering if it's creature. We got blue-white. Could go either way. Okay, now they're leaving. They may counter this. No, Omen of the Seas. Okay, that's good news for us right there. As we get to toss another land up. Really great. We got Cabal next. Our set, okay. But that leaves the door wide open here. Now, I'm not seeing any creatures. They got another Narset in hand here. So I think I can run both these. We're just going to go ahead and throw this down. So you can see that I already have 7 mana available. And we're going to put up the curse. We know that... well, I'm not sure what they've got for creatures, if any, but we're going to throw up Gonti, so we'll get a little look into their world. Okay, there are no creatures, but they do have God Pharaoh's statue, which I'm going to take right now. And they're not going to be too damn pleased about that, because I've got the mana to play it next turn. Okay, that limits them to not searching their library. They do have another one in hand, though. Narset, that is. Okay. That's okay. No problem at all. I don't know that they have any creatures in hand. And this is really best against creatures. But with the Pharaoh now in play, so spells that the opponent casts cost 2 more, and they've only got 4 lands on the board. That's the game, because I already have 7 mana down, 1 in hand, and a Mind Stone. I could run Hailfire next turn and probably kill them. And the Pharaoh would be doing damage each turn. Sweet pick up there. You can see the power of Gonti there. Hopefully we can get Massacre Wurm involved next game. Okay, here we are again. Looks like a pretty good setup. We have a nice ramp, Zealot to Veto, to Gonti, and Vraska, and 3 lands to work with. Odds are we'll get at least 1 more by the time we get to turn 4. We go first, which is an extra bonus here. And we have Kahira as a companion. So we're probably going to be looking at a creature deck. I would love to get my hands on Trespassers Curse here. I don't get it, but maybe we'll pull it with Dusk Legion. Do not. We get another land, which is good. Sorry about the slow play of this opponent. Okay, we're off now. We get Cabal, which is great. We have 2 now, but kind of hoping for Trespassers Curse. So I believe we're going to start seeing some creatures. There's Brushfire, and they'll play a land now. And he can come right on in. Okay, there's Massacre Wurm. We're a ways off from that. We're going to run Gonti right now. Okay. Take Omnath. That's going to freak them out a little bit. Okay, that hurts a little bit. Okay, so we're looking at green, let's see, red, blue, green here probably. So maybe white, not sure. Okay, so let's bring out Omnath. Not a move I was planning on. Okay, don't like that at all. I think we're going to have to use Vraska's Contempt here. He has a couple life, that'll shoot some back at them. Alright, that worked well. No attacks. Really would love to get a Trespassers Curse here. Also, I'm in need of another land. Trespassers Curse into Clackbridge Troll would be very nice. Into Massacre Wurm, that would be excellent. So looking for a land and a Trespassers Curse. We get a land, which gives us the 6. Omnath comes up. Okay, I think we're going to kind of get the Panharmonicon on the board here, and we'll stay put. Okay, Zundakar's roll, which, you know, can cause grief and will immediately work. Okay, and so I believe that we can run Massacre Wurm now. See, we get the trigger from Panharmonicon. It cleans the slate and will do a lot of damage to them. So that is incredible, is it not? Okay, we didn't get a wholesale move there, and you know, we'd love to have Trespassers Curse on the board, but the game is over, folks. So, potent deck, I'm glad you saw Massacre Wurm in action there. Hey, please subscribe. Check out my other videos. I'm cranking them out. Tossed out the Paladin Infinite Combo yesterday. Some cool things going. I got my energy deck that will probably fly out of here Wednesday. And that is a super cool deck. Kaladesh based deck. So thanks again for watching. Have a great day.